Are you ready to get your fantasy on? Here's Show Us Your TDs. It's grind time!
Let's go! Here's a little PSA for you fantasy owners out there. Nothing's perfect. You win some, you lose some. Keep your head held high and go on to your next opponent. Well, that's what I keep telling myself. Welcome back to Show Us Your TDs. I'm here with my man that needs no introduction. Melky, how you doing?
Ayo, guess who's happier than a dog humping its owner's leg? It's the Melk-Man. I'm on cloud 9. Like most guys' sex game, you'll find out shortly. How are you, Goobie?
I mean, it is what it is. I think you could tell how I'm doing by my intro.
I definitely can, and I saw why too. So, do you want to waste any more time and dive right into this, or shall we just keep rambling?
No, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this. Man, dude, what was your week like?
Oh, so you'd like me to start?
Yeah, you know what? Fucking winners go first.
That's right, folks. Goobie nailed it because the Melk-Man won last week. And he slayed half of Family Gate. So that just made it even sweeter. And I'm going to tell you how he did it. So the score was, sorry, folks. The score was 138 to 131 in a nail biter. Honestly, I was cheering. I was biting my nails. I pretty much every emotion you could think of was filled in my room while I was watching the game. But I won. I slayed the dragon, so to speak. And I'd just like to give a little shout out to Melky's 3 stars for last week. So number 3, Buffalo defense, 20 points, Goobie. You know how they
killed
did
it.
2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and a pick 6. They're on a roll, man.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, Christian Kirk. Now, I know I've dogged this boy for having a terrible contract, and he still does, but Trevor Lawrence loves this man. It's his new favorite shiny toy. He got me 22.8 points, so he had 78 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. And we're going to talk about it later, but it came at the expense of those lonely Colts. Woo! They are stinky right now. And number one star on Melky's list, the Buffalo coach. Sean McDermott. And you want to know why? He sat Josh Allen near the end of the third quarter. Josh Allen was on a roll. He probably could have put a 60-point performance up, but he didn't. He was rested, and because of it, I was allowed to maintain my lead while Sangria Picks was having to watch as the game was counting down, and her chances of winning basically were non-existent. So thank you, Josh McDermott. You are a hero, Sean McDermott, because I get your name wrong while I'm praising you. You are a hero of Melky's book, and guess what? I owe you one.
Yeah, that was a nail biter for sure. I feel bad right now for you looking at your team for one reason only. You do not have a quarterback.
No. I have potential. I have guys that aren't big slingers, or you don't know what you're gonna get from them each week, but there's potential for them to have big games. Like Kirk Cousins had a big game
Last
week 1.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, I don't know what's going on. I think there's a lot of injuries over there too, so he's destined to have at least a couple of big games, as this is his last hurrah. And then my newest addition, a man I make fun of all the time, a man you definitely make fun of all the time, it's Tua. And you know what? We'll talk about it later too. I'm just hoping it's maybe lightning in a bottle and he pulls like a Lamar Jackson from a couple seasons ago that helped Tim win the entire thing. So you just never know. You got to take a chance.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was looking. I was like, man, Brady's been doing nothing. And Kirk Cousins shit the bed this week. And I don't know about Tua yet. We'll find out, though. But, yeah. No, that was a good win, honestly. It was nail biter. But, I mean, so was mine. Mine was nail biter until Monday night.
Well, inform the folks on your battle from week 2.
All right. Well, I started Matthew Stafford, 29 points. Thank you. I appreciate that one. That gave me confidence back in Matthew Stafford. AJ Brown did not do as good as I thought he would against Minnesota. I thought this was going to be a shootout. He only got 9 points. CeeDee Lamb without Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush, buddy.
What a rush.
What a rush. I got 11 points out of CeeDee Lamb. T. Higgins, back from the concussion, 16 points. I'm not a fan of second wide receivers. I picked up a lot of first wide receivers in my in our league. And you know what? I'm starting to become a fan of second wide receivers. T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Jalen Waddle. These guys are going off. We got Austin Eckler, 13 points. That's okay. I expect more from him. Wilson Jr., 11 points. I could see that's where he's gonna be right now.
That's gonna be the norm of that team. Like I told you and Kevin, San Francisco is a running team by committee.
But with Trevor Lawrence, or not Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance out, I think Wilson might get some more love. I think I think their schemes are gonna change a little bit.
Well, you're not gonna ask porn star Jimmy to do all the running for you, so
that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I mean, we saw it. Not to go completely off topic, we saw it in the Dallas game where Tony Pollard got a lot of love. Because Cooper Rush doesn't run.
It's Pollard.
Pollard, whatever. But yeah, Cooper Rush, even though he has fucking Rush in his name, he doesn't rush for shit.
No, he's a slow ginger.
Dalton Schultz got injured, 0.8 points. Juju Smith did shit all, 2.5 points. Daniel Carlson gave me a good 13 points, and San Fran's defense gave me good 15 points. So, I mean, all in all, it wasn't terrible. I lost 141 to 123. Now, I was up 10 points going into Monday night. There's only one player left on each team. AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs. And what did Stephon Diggs have to do? Well, I don't know. Fucking just go off. What'd he do? 100. I'm trying to find the actual stat here.
He lit
148 yards, 3 touchdowns, caught 12 of 14 targets. The dude put up 38 points. Now, like I said, I was up by 10 points. AJ Brown versus Stephon Diggs, I was like, oh, I got this. They're both going to put up like roughly 15, 20 points. It's going to be a stalemate, and I'm going to take it. Diggs, man, you the best right now.
Yeah, he lit Tennessee up like a Christmas tree. It wasn't even close. They had no answer for him. I was watching that game because my opponent had Josh Allen. And I was like, please don't throw any touchdowns. And of course, he throws 3 to Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. So, yeah, it looked good at the beginning of Monday. The end of Monday night wasn't good at all. But
it's funny too because all the matchups this week were close. Like in our league, they were all pretty close, and they almost went to like my matchup went to Monday night too.
Yeah.
I had 4 players left, and she had 2, and that was the deciding factor. And you guys had each. How many players did you have each going into Monday?
I just AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs. That was it.
The battle of the elite wide receivers.
Yeah.
So it all came down to Monday night, which is nuts.
Yeah. I will say and this isn't me saying I'm going to win it all this year,
You're not.
but I will say last time I won, didn't I go 0-4 at the start?
No, that was Allen.
Okay, sorry. No, I went 0-2 then. I know.
There's plenty of time left, but your team was
0-2.
different. Your team is different back then compared to now, and I
0-2. I started 0-2 and I won.
I keep telling you, you need to have a more balanced team. You're not just going to win with a pile of wide receivers.
Hey,
and you
I
say
tried to trade.
And you say my quarterbacks are shit. Your quarterbacks haven't been that hot either. Like Stafford, he finally got the ball rolling, but it took him long enough. So you're in the same boat as me.
But if I start Kirk Cousins at the start of the year, I think I would have won.
Yeah. And if I started Kirk Cousins too, I would have beat Jen. So yeah, same boat.
But I didn't have Kirk Cousins.
If I had started Lamar Jackson, he would have won as well. And he didn't.
Anyways, let's get into next week. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm predicted to lose 125 to 131 to not a Bears lineup. Stafford versus Joe Burrow. A.J. Brown versus Cooper Kupp. CeeDee Lamb versus Devontae Smith. T. Higgins versus Jacoby Myers, who's questionable. Austin Eckler versus DeAndre Swift, who I'm pretty sure won't play. Cam Akers versus Cordell Patterson. Dalton Schultz, which I will probably change to a random tight end at some point. I picked up Higbee, so I think I'm just going to throw Higbee in because I don't know if Dalton Schultz is playing. He's playing Darren Waller. I picked up the Jets wide receiver. Was it Garrett Wilson versus James Conner, and then Carlson versus Gold. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Robbie Gold.
Yeah, and then San Fran versus Chicago D. Yeah, it's gonna be matchup based. I mean, Dallas is playing the Giants. AJ Brown's playing Washington. Stafford's playing Arizona. T. Higgins playing the Jets. So I'm expected my wide receiver core and my quarterback to have a great game. Austin Eckler is playing Jacksonville. I mean, depending on what's going on with Herbert, Austin Eckler could have a good game. I don't know. What do you think?
It's one of those tight matchups, man, that can probably go either way. I think I don't. It could go either way. You're almost in the same boat as you have monsters, but they haven't been living up to it. So it all depends. It depends how CeeDee Lamb does. It depends how Stafford does. It depends because you have the talent. You should realistically, on paper, you should annihilate her, but it's a weird season right now. So I'm gonna actually give. I think you're gonna get your first win this week.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say you're gonna get your first win. I don't think Jen's team is good at all. She got lucky against me because it's always a thing where she outplays, like, her first game. Her players outshine mine for whatever reason. So having said that, I think you're gonna squeak one out this week.
Yeah, I hope so too. And you know what? I hate to be an asshole about it, but I hope Justin Herbert just doesn't play and they kind of run more with Austin Eckler. So we'll see.
Well, Melk, if that makes you an asshole, then it makes me an asshole hoping he doesn't play either, because I'm playing against Justin Herbert this week.
Yes, sir.
Let me break it down. I'm playing the other half of Family Gates, so I'm looking to take care of both of them in back-to-back weeks. Let's go over the matchups, shall we? Kirk Cousins versus a questionable Justin Herbert. I do think he's playing because he's a tough kid. Portland Sutton versus Stephon Diggs. Christian Kirk versus newly acquired Tyler Lockett. Now, I think this is hilarious that he went and grabbed him, which is cool, but Geno Smith sucks. And if you actually think Lockett's going to ball out against Atlanta, you have another thing coming. I actually think it's going to be a DK game, so I hope I'm right.
I think you're right, too.
Got Keenan Allen, potentially, because he's also hurt, versus Allen Robinson the second. You got Najee Harris versus Javonte Williams. CMC, Goobie's old partner in crime, versus Alvin Kamara. George Kittle, another guy coming off injury, versus Logan Thomas. David Montgomery, who was a fucking beast last week, versus James Robinson. Then we got the kickers. I've got Dustin Hopkins. That's kind of funny. He's got the same name as the actor. Didn't notice that. Against Young Ho Koo. Koo in the house. I'm actually cheering for Koo. I always cheer for Koo. And defenses, wrapping up with the defenses, Buffalo versus New Orleans. The Goobs are projected to win 132 to 131. How do you like my chances?
Well, if Keenan Allen plays, I think you're good. But even then, you can put in Terry McLaurin, and I still think you can pull one out. It's hard to say because, like, I want to say start Tua because I feel like this is going to be a shootout. But against that Buffalo defense, it's going to be like, yeah, probably not.
I think they're going to be looking to eat him alive. It's a statement.
And like we alluded to earlier, we don't know if Justin Herbert's playing, and her backup is Jared Goff. And yeah, Goff had a couple of good games so far, but it's Jared Goff, and we know that he can slip up pretty quick. So I'm going to give you a win. I'm going to give you a win. You're going to take this one.
I like it, and that just means Tim's going to need a new TV because he goes mental on Sundays when football's on.
Yeah, mental. We know this. We've heard the talks, but what's that?
Saying, well, when your kids say we hate Sundays because of football, you know.
Well, speaking of mental, you want to know someone who went mental? Tua and the Dolphins. They destroyed. And I'm talking like I've never seen a dual wide receiver combo go for this much. Melk, what do you think about the Dolphins team right now?
Lost for words. Honestly, first of all, it was a comeback too because they were trailing for most of this game and ended up squeaking it out 42 to 38. But Lord have mercy. Like if you look at Tua's numbers, 469 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, Goobie.
Yeah.
6. Two INTs, and he rushed for a measly 1 yard. Not that he needed that. And you mentioned the wide receiver duel of like Waddle and Hill.
Yep.
They both had 2 touchdowns each and over 100 yards each. That is insane. Like that could be the scariest duel in the NFL.
Oh, it 100% is. I can't imagine anybody like worse than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle right now. It's like you have to double cover them both.
Speedsters.
Yeah, and like, what did you put up? Well, he put up 50. Tua put up. I'm trying to find it. 57 points.
Yeah.
My and like you said, it was a great comeback game. Like fantastic. So I mean,
I would say game of the year so far, maybe.
Yeah, I could say that. Yeah, it could end up being the game of the year because that was a great game. I watched it in its entirety. So yeah, kudos to Tua. I mean, a lot of people give him a lot of shit for not being a good quarterback, and he kind of showed up. I think he could surprise some people this year.
Do you think this was a fluke?
No, he's got the weapons, man. He's got the weapons, and I know this Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert are kind of sharing the load right now, and Mostert kind of took over a little bit. He's got 2 decent running backs behind him, and 2 all-star. They could end up being top 5 wide receivers at the end of the year, which is crazy to say that 2 wide receivers are going to be top 5 on the same team.
It's mind-boggling, and the Dolphins could do big things. I mean, I picked them to get a wild card spot, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're there because of those two, and a little less Tua.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little less Tua, but
okay. Well, we were just mentioning games of the year. Let's talk about one that wasn't. Let's go over to Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Bro, the Colts were shut out 24-0.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, you're melting, bro. 195 passing yards and 3 interceptions.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, on the other hand, 235 passing yards, 2 TDs, 11 rushing yards. You and I both alluded to Christian Kirk being a big help and his new favorite toy. Again, in the last 2 games, actually, he's had 2 touchdowns, 195 passing yards, and 18 targets. So, Goobs, I got to ask you, what's wrong with the Colts?
It's Matt Ryan, man. He's just not Matt Ryan of old. He's just old. And that's what it is, man. Age gets to you. Everybody can't be Tom Brady. He went 16 for 30. 16 for 30. Like, if you're going to be a starter in the NFL, you can't go 16 for 30. And you have arguably the best running back in the league, Jonathan Taylor. And, I mean, it could be a coaching thing, too, because, like, Jonathan Taylor only got 9 carries. If you're the best running back in the league, you're getting 20 carries a game. And that would help with the passing. You know, you run a few, do a play action, get a good bomb downfield, and it's not working out. I other than coaching and Matt Ryan, I don't know what else to say. I mean, they don't really have good wide receivers.
Well, they were missing Pittman Jr. They didn't have this week, so I that definitely contributed, to the offense being so sour. But I think you're onto something. I think after that, besides Pittman Jr. and Taylor, what else do they really have? Paris Campbell.
Yeah, I dropped Paris Campbell.
Yeah, so did Lisa.
Yeah.
Ago.
Oh, I'm talking my other league though. Yeah,
oh,
I dropped Paris Campbell in my other league, and like honestly, I don't even think Pittman's a top 15.
Nah, I don't agree with that. I think he's a top 15.
All right.
It's just he's hurt right now, and Matty Ice is poopy.
Yeah. You want to talk about hurt? Let's talk about Dak Prescott and his broken thumb. Actually, you know what? Let's not talk about Dak Prescott and his broken thumb. Let's talk about Cooper Rush. All right.
Oh,
this guy is amazing. Melky, tell me about our new star quarterback, Cooper Rush.
Okay, well, I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely had a rush attack against the Bengals, and it was a big win and something we needed because I could not face our group chat going 0-2 this season.
No.
So, yeah, Rush led the Cowboys 20-17, and, he had some pretty decent numbers. 235 passing yards, a touchdown. That was a great opening drive, too. And a couple of rushing yards. His counterpart, Joe Burrow, I don't know, man, 199 passing yards, a TD, 26 rushing yards, and he had a 2-point conversion. So, Goobs, man, your boy Burrow, you had him last year.
I did.
Are the Bengals suffering from like a Super Bowl hangover? Now, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but just being there, are they just hungover, or is it something else going on in Cincinnati?
Honestly, I can't tell. It's so hard to tell. I mean, Joe Mixon, he had 19 carries, so it wasn't a run thing because, like, yeah, he only had 57 yards, but they still have that play action, and I think most NFL analysts have said that the Bengals have the best wide receiver core. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and they just added that tight end Hayden Hurst. Mm-hmm. So, like, You could be onto something. It could be just like, oh yeah, we got to the Super Bowl, we can coast. Bro, you can't coast. This is the big leagues. You cannot coast. Joe Burrow, you cannot coast. But I think I don't know if we talked about it last podcast or if I was just talking in general with some friends. This O-line sucks.
It's flaming garbage.
And that's the biggest issue they need to tackle.
I think also, you're right. You're definitely right on that. You nailed it. He's getting sacked at an alarming rate. I think he already has 16 sacks.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's too many for a star quarterback. He can't withstand that. But I also think it's cockiness. Take one Jamar Chase, for instance. You know what he said about Trayvon Diggs? And everybody likes to pick on Trayvon.
Yeah.
Jamar said, he's a little hit or miss. He's all the way or not all the way. That was what he said to about
Trayvon Diggs.
And guess what Trayvon Diggs did to him? While Jamar was on his route, he had 2 receptions, Jamar, for only 14 yards. So take that in your pipe and smoke it. Maybe playing instead of worrying about mouthing off people, because you're, as much of a star you are, and you are a shining star, you're a second-year player. Focus on playing the game. Let your actions speak louder.
100%. They were jawing all game. I saw it, and I mean, it was fantastic for entertainment wise. But I think you hit the nail on the head. You cannot be that cocky and then put up a performance like he did. No touchdowns, only 54 yards. Like, T. Higgins outshined you. And if I was Trayvon Diggs, I'd be tweeting right now, like, wide receiver 1 who?
Yeah.
That right? Like, you ain't it. You ain't it. You gotta put up or shut up. And at this point, Jamar Chase, shut up.
Very well said. And you got to walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about walking the walk. San Francisco, okay, signed Jimmy Garoppolo to a new deal as a backup. I hated it. I was like, yo, what are you guys doing? Like, you're giving this guy money as a backup. Trey Lance hated it. I know like I said, I verbally said it on the podcast. It was probably a terrible deal because it makes Trey Lance look like, it wasn't like a big deal, but it made Trey Lance go like, what the fuck? Like, what are you guys doing? And then Trey Lance, you break your fucking ankle. Now look at you. Now look at Jimmy G back in the starting lineup and leading the Niners to a win. Melky, is Jimmy G back? Is he the man?
Was he ever gone?
Is he gonna take him to the Super Bowl?
I mean, he has before. If you look at his numbers, he never puts up like fantastic numbers, but he just gets the job done. It's like the song. All he does is win, but it looks ugly. Like his numbers: 154 passing yards, a passing TD, 5 rushing yards, and a rushing TD. Like those aren't great numbers, but he's on a great team. San Francisco knows him. Shanahan's a great coach, and he just has to do the bare minimum. He just has to like not turn the ball over. So you know what? They're still a potent team. I still think they're the favorites in the West. And you know what? Trey Lance, maybe you should stay away from the Rippers because now you gotta make it rain on your medical bills. Just for next time, maybe just focus on football.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for Trey Lance. He's a young rising star in the NFL. But man, porn star Jimmy's back. And I have a feeling that the Niners knew about this. They had foresight that this was going to happen. I was talking to a Niners fan at work, and I was like, yo, what was with this Jimmy Garoppolo deal? And he came in today. He goes, how about that Jimmy Garoppolo deal? I was like, damn, you're right. So,
yeah, the 49ers crystal ball definitely called it. He's back in the saddle, and he's here wreak havoc on the NFC West, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know what? He just makes the right plays. I heard it on Undisputed. They were saying he's not going to take you past the bar, but he'll get you to the bar. And sometimes that's all you need. And then you might get lucky and get over that hump. So it's going to be a great season. And it's, at least he's still playing for another season for the 49ers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what else we got on the docket?
Well, as we started last week, we have our AFC West Bulletin. And if you don't remember, it's just it's just basically for us to go through the standings of the best division in football, in my opinion. And week by week, we're gonna give you the updated standings. So let's start. The KFC Chiefs remain number 1. We've got the LA Chargers at number 2, and the Denver Broncos number 3, and the Las Vegas Raiders at 4. So nothing has changed so far. Now, if you look at the matchups on Thursday, it was LA versus KC, with KC winning 27-24. Mahomes still owns the Chargers, having boasted 235 passing yards and 2 passing TDs, while Justin Herbert can't beat elite teams. Go figure. He did sport 334 passing yards, 3 passing TDs, interception that cost them, and 1 crushed rib.
Yeah. Yeah, they're lucky that wasn't a fracture.
It was close. I really thought the Chargers had it, but Mahomes is on a wrecking. He's on a wrecking mission right now.
Yeah, I gotta give kudos to Justin Herbert though, making that big touchdown pass, or not touchdown, but making that big pass. I forget, it was like a 30-yard pass towards the end zone. Probably like on the 5, was it? Sorry?
To Mike Williams?
Yeah.
That was a sweet.
After getting like rocked about, he injured his ribs. He tried to run, couldn't run, threw the ball away. Then he got hit really hard, and he's wincing. Then he comes back and throws that pass. Kudos to you, man. Like that shows that you're a true athlete and you're willing to do what it takes to try to get a win. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. But I mean, Justin Herbert, you have my respect. It was a great game. I think it was fantastic. Melk, I got a question for you though. Does Justin Herbert play?
I mean, I hope he doesn't this week. I think he should just take the week off and let me win this week's fantasy matchup, and then come back and be stronger than ever.
All right. Let's. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Start 0-2, losing to the Cards. Like at this point, like a lot of people are like, Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, old teammates back again. They're gonna do well. Are they doing well, Mel?
I don't think you can blame Carr or Adams for Sunday's loss. That was horrible. First of all, it was the defense that allowed Baby Yoda to dance around into the end zone and have his way with them at the end of the game. And in overtime, Renfro, you gotta catch those balls and keep them in your hand, because he fumbled. He cost them the game. So I think it's been a string of bad luck. It's still early. 0-2, there's just way too much talent on that squad for them not to have a successful season. So we'll see, man. But if they go 0-3, that's quite a hole you're digging yourself in this division.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. 2 receptions, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. Like if you're Devontae Adams, you're looking for more. You're Zeke Elliott saying feed me. So
I'm sure it's coming.
It's coming, but I mean, it ceases to exist right now. So, but yeah, that Kyler Murray play that you alluded to, fantastic. Like that guy knows how to scramble.
There was a reason he was the number 1 pick in that draft class. So if he can be consistent like that and not worry about his gamer buddies and Who's he gonna shoot
Go
up?
phase up, man. Phase up.
Nobody cares about that nerd shit. If he just stays focused, then he can be a top 10 quarterback instead of being a goofball. So
Yeah.
Cardinals, they could be a good team. Remember, they started off hot last season. There's no reason why they can't get back on that.
Do you think that the only reason why he scored that touchdown is because he's really short and they just lost sight of him over the O line?
Yeah, that's why he's Baby Yoda. He's a little guy. I don't care what they say. He is not 5'10".
All right.
I'm probably a giant compared to him. Yeah, let's wrap up the AFC West bulletin with the Denver Broncos.
The Houston game, sorry.
Yeah,
The Houston game. Okay.
They got their first win in their home debut, 16-9. Russell Wilson was with shaky numbers, 219 passing yards, a TD, an interception, of course, and 3 rushing yards. Goobs.
Yeah.
Daniel Hackett was booed by the home fans. Should we still be worried about the Broncos?
I don't know what team you're talking about. I saw Houston play. I don't know if they're playing another team. Yeah, I mean, okay. So we shouldn't be worried about the Broncos. At this point, like, yeah, they didn't have a great performance, but again, it's a quarterback going into a new scheme. You know, it takes time to adjust. I think Russell Wilson will adjust eventually. I don't know if he's going to be the Russell Wilson of old, but I don't think you should worry. I think they have a potential to make the playoffs, but at this point, it's hit or miss. They need to step up, and yeah, it's hard to say at this point, but I think that they'll come around. They have the weapons.
I'm not worried about Russ. I'm worried about the coach.
Yeah,
really bad time management skills.
He has terrible time management skills. I mean, I'd say if they lose, what are the Broncos' next games? Let's take a look. They play the Niners, the Raiders, the Colts, the Chargers. I'd say if they lose to the Niners and the Raiders, his ass is on the line during the Colts game. If they beat the Colts and lose to the Chargers, I'd say he has a good chance of getting fired halfway through the season.
You think so? Because this is his first season at the helm.
That doesn't matter. He's just been playing terrible. I mean, you took a bet on him, you took a gamble on him, and it's not paying off.
Very well said. And that is your AFC West bulletin. Be back next week to give you the updates. Good.
Yeah.
What we got next?
We got special delivery. It's back. Your favorite postie here is about to deliver you some mail, some players that may be good, you may want to ship out. So I'm gonna start with our favorite running back, Zeke Elliott. Actually, I'm kidding. He's not our favorite running back.
No, he definitely isn't.
For someone who is fighting for the top spot in Dallas, Zeke has done little to prove he's the guy to keep, putting up a whopping 5.4 fantasy points in both his games. Zeke is starving, and they're not feeding him. Tony Pollard is racking up the plates and seemingly won't stop. Unless Zeke starts to pick up the pace and deliver some bigger runs, he's someone in the next few weeks I'd be looking to deliver to another team. Melky, what do you think?
Zeke's a bum, and it's Tony Pollard.
Pollard. You know what?
It's not baseball Pollard, all right? It's Pollard. But
I'm going to keep on saying Pollard now just to piss you off.
You do what you got to do, baby. I agree with you 100%. Zeke, it doesn't matter how much he trains. It doesn't matter how much preparation he has for a game. He just looks awful. He doesn't get any separation. I don't know if maybe the O-line hates him secretly. I don't know, because Pollard is always zipping through people, making plays for himself. Where Zeke looks like he's running in quicksand. I honestly think it's time to ship him afloat or send him somewhere, send him adrift. I don't know what you want to do and get rid of him. He's just
Yeah.
not panning out. Let Pollard be the new guy.
Pollard.
Pollard.
Yeah, I agree. Even though the touches are still in favor of Zeke, Pollard is.
Pollard.
Yeah, I was messing with you. Pollard is, he may be getting less touches, but he's doing something. He's doing something with that ball, and it's starting to show that he could take the number one spot in Dallas. I mean, if Jerry Jones gets his head out of his ass, I would be trying to sell Zeke immediately.
Yeah, no, Jerry's busy with that hush hush money to that daughter that popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So he's busy.
Yeah. All right. Well, for you guys out there in the fantasy world that don't have daughters that are trying to take some money from you, sell Zeke, deliver him somewhere else, get rid of him. All right. I'm going to stick with the running backs, Melk. And I'm going to go with the King Henry.
Dun, 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 dun.
Things aren't looking good for the self-proclaimed King. Henry has rushed only for 107 yards in the first 2 games of the season without a touchdown. 25 of that came from last week. So, I mean, you're putting up 25 yards as the self-proclaimed king. It's not going to work. The Titans are on a downfall, and the King is losing his throne. Supposed to have an average of 15 points a game? Come on. Though I cannot say if his broken foot last year has some impact on his run game, it sure looks like Henry might be on some team's loading dock. Be shipped out at a moment's notice. If you had Derrick Henry on your team, would you be ready to ship him out?
Are we talking fantasy or are we talking reality?
Fantasy.
No. I think he can still be a viable option, a top tier running back. The problem is when you run that hard, you're eventually gonna take a step back. You cannot maintain that type of physical force forever. Now, he also is coming off a foot injury. So you have to remember too, he rushed back for the playoffs, but you probably shouldn't have. His body is just getting back, getting wet, getting back on that field, feeling it out. I'm telling you, in a couple games, he's going to be the old Henry that we all know and love. So don't take his crown just yet. Wait it out.
All right. Well, I mean, there is a new king in town, King Charles. Maybe King Henry can come back too.
There's also King Goobie in the newest Wow I Had Mustard that's coming out soon.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. That was my special delivery. Take it what you will. Ship them out. Keep them. That's your choice. But I said it. This is what I think. Let's get on with it.
Thanks, Goobie. That was awesome. And I always look forward to your special delivery segments.
Well, thank you.
They're a thing of beauty. That's all I could say. Like, folks, if you're not getting your mail, you know why. Goobie is too busy making lists about people he doesn't want to deliver to.
No, I make lists about killing people.
Oh,
Check out Wow I Had Mustard, people.
All right. So it is time for the segment that sounds like Goobie is taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. It is boom or bust.
That would be like boom or constipated.
I mean, it all depends what you eat. I mean, it was Taco Tuesday yesterday.
Taco Tuesday.
Nah, I don't even want to know how broken your toilet is. All right, Goobs, why don't you start us off with your first boomer bust pick?
Well, you kind of ruined my boomer bust pick earlier in the pod, talking about our man DK Metcalf. DK has been getting no love from Geno Smith so far, only nabbing 5 points a game DK is due to have a huge game. And going up versus a Falcons team that gave up 3 passing touchdowns last week, now I know Geno is no Stafford, but you just got to believe that the star receiver like DK, won't get totally shut out. I see DK being a boom this week, putting up around 80 yards and a touchdown. I'm gonna give it, man. DK's coming back strong this week. Melky, thoughts?
I'm going to agree with you.
All
I
right.
think he is going to be a boom this week. They're playing Hot Atlanta, and Hot Atlanta is hot garbage. So there is room for him to get yards, touchdowns. Geno, the MVP, or former MVP, because last week you were one of the worst quarterbacks out there. I think Geno's going to look for him early, and DK is going to use his size and just bully the Atlanta Falcons secondary. So look for Geno and DK connection on Sunday.
Yeah, Geno's an MVP because he beat the horses.
You mean the My Little Ponies?
Yeah, the golden unicorns.
Nothing golden about them, all right?
They shoot rainbows out of their bums.
Now you're making more sense. That sounds like the team out in Denver.
All right. Melky, what do you got for your first boomer bust?
Well, since you said I ruined something for you, I believe you returned it in favor and ruined my boomer bust too. Going over to San Francisco with Pornstar Jimmy G. I did allude to his numbers earlier in our NFL segment. So it's return of the Jimmy. Garoppolo is back at the driver's side of the San Francisco bandwagon. And the 49ers know him all too well. And this bodes well for them. I think it's a familiarity that is going to bode well for Shanahan and the entire team. And it's going to pay dividends against the Denver Broncos squad, who are still trying to figure things out. Look for Jimmy G to be a boom this week.
All right. I'm going to have to disagree. I think that the Broncos are going to try to put on a show.
Who's the home team?
Who is? Is it the Niners?
Here, continue. I'll look it up.
All right. I honestly, okay. I think, like I said, that team needs to start putting on a show because they don't sign someone for $250 million and almost lose to the Houston Texans. At this point, they need something to show. Oh, this is the team to be. Like this is us. Like, so I think this is their game to go after and score some big points.
It's in Mile High, but I'm still picking the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I don't know, man. I see Denver's defense putting on a show.
And I see it being a battle of defenses because both teams are capable of having a stout defensive performance. And it's basically going to be the first person to make a mistake is going to lose this game. I just think I don't trust Denver's coach. It's not the team I don't really trust. It's the coach. He's shown the first 2 games he's way over his head. And you have Mike Shanahan, who's been in the league for how long, has been to the Super Bowl twice, has lost, but has been there, done that, has a veteran team. They've got Debo, they've got Ayuk, they've got Pornstar Jimmy back. The run game, they always have something. Shanahan always has something up his sleeve. So I just like the veteran savvy San Francisco team to go into Mile High and face a Broncos team, again, who are just trying to figure things out.
All right. Well, I think Kevin will like my pick at least. But yeah, no, I mean, anybody can win any given Sunday, right? That's the quote. So we'll see. I'm gonna go with my next boomer bust, and it's a man that someone over here tried to trade, and it was a terrible Terrible trade. Devin, what?
Said I don't want him.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to allude to right now. Devin Singletary. At this point, if you have him on your bench, you're wasting your time. I can't get through this. The Bills are a pass first and then pass second, and then when in doubt, Josh Allen runs the ball. Okay? That's it. There's no running back in this situation. Going up against a Miami team that has a high scoring offense, I think where both of their receivers, again, we alluded to earlier, put up over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, this game is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a pass-heavy game, and I honestly, at this point, Devin Singletary for this week and probably for the rest of the weeks, you're going to be a bust. I'm speechless. Josh Allen is a god at this point. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Josh Allen runs, and then he throws. He doesn't hand it off to nobody. Melky.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. He's a huge bust, and probably, like you alluded to, for the rest of the season, because Josh Allen is a stat whore. Now, yes, I love Josh Allen. He is by far one of the best quarterbacks in the league, top 3, if I'm gonna be more specific. But man, Josh, let your fellow running backs eat, man. Why do you gotta run all the time? You got Singletary, you got what's the other guy's name? The second year player. I just had his name.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, that just tells you we don't know because that just Moss. Sorry, you got Moss. You got it. They drafted another running back. Like, let them eat, man. Like, why you got to run all the time? You got an arm. You got a cannon. If you run less opportunity for you to get hurt. So for those reasons, yeah. Like, unfortunately, Singletary's just got to ride the pine and wait for his time to shine.
I would be. Sorry, go ahead, Mel.
I said, but he's a bust going forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just sell all their running backs and then just pick up more wide receivers for Josh Allen to throw to.
Or they could just, on fantasy, just change Josh Allen from QB to QB and running back because that's all he does.
That would be rough.
Multiple positions.
Josh Allen would be top pick every single year.
He's a stat whore. You need to stop it, buddy. Like, let the man eat.
All right, Melk, who is your last boomer bust?
Well, closing it off is a man you picked up in the waiver wire today. Going over to New York, the shittier part in the swamp. They're talking Garrett Wilson, wide receiver of the Jets. And I'm going to label him as a boom. I guess that's why you're starting him this week. His numbers last week, 8 receptions, 102 receiving yards, and 2 receiving TDs. Did you know Wilson shared the same amount of snaps as Corey Davis? And it's crazy because Garrett Wilson is the number 3 receiver on the depth chart. So look, I think his volume is going to go up. I think Joe Flacco likes him. I think Joe Flacco also likes having 3 really good wide receivers that can do different things. So although he is still slated in the 3rd spot, look for his volume to continue to go up, and he's going to be a boom this week against really confused Cincinnati Bengals team.
Yeah, they're very confused. I like that. I'm going to agree with you. That's why I picked him up. I feel like that was everybody's waiver choice was to pick him up. But, you gotta suck to get the good ones. And I suck. And I got the good one.
You suck hard.
That was terrible. I feel like I'm just gonna lose I'm gonna go 0-17 or whatever the fantasy season is.
I feel like I knew you were gonna grab him. See, I have my own crystal ball too, and I knew you were gonna go for Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Knew Mike was going to pick up someone stupid, and he did Noah Brown. Yes, Noah Brown had a great game. but don't expect that to be a continuous thing. He's gonna draw. I'll bet you your Toonie bet wager that Mike drops Noah Brown after this week.
Okay. My other pick is still available on the waiver wire. I might pick him up later.
I don't know. I was going for Tua, and I knew Allen wanted him. So if I didn't grab him, Allen was dropping Russell Wilson for Tua.
Yeah, I don't have anybody to drop until my Titans are kind of figure their shit out, whether or not Dalton Schultz plays. Here's a sneaky boom for you, Jarvis Landry.
Nah, they like the Rook got more
Olay.
Olav.
All
Got
right.
more snaps than Jarvis, but I had to make room personally.
All right.
What do we got next?
We got Toonie bets. It's a special one. Melky, give me your Toonie bet for this week.
Glad you threw it over to me. And we've been talking about this team, those players, pretty much all podcasts. So why not stay over there? Going Buffalo over Miami. Battle of the 2-0s. Big division game. Bills are going to stampede over to Miami, and they're going to turn the Dolphins into freshly canned tuna as they win big in South Beach. Pick the Bills. They're the real number ones. Miami, you're always being number two.
I wish we had video because everybody could just see me rolling my eyes and falling asleep over to that horrible pick.
That's a lie. You were falling asleep because you're tired.
No, I'm not tired. I'm good to go. Melky, and because I'm good to go, I'm doubling down on your bet and putting two toonies. And for you Americans and other people that don't live in Canada, that's $4. And I'm going to put $4 on the line that the Dolphins beat the Bills. All right? Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Tua. You're not going to have that big of a game, but you're going to have a game. It's going to be a shootout. And, yeah, Dolphins win, man. Dolphins take the Bills.
No, I think Von Miller is going to put Tua in a coma. It's going to be great. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. It could be the game of the week as well.
Yeah.
Like a division matchup. There's a bunch of division matchups this week, and that one is the spiciest one in my eyes. So I can't wait. I think you're wrong. I think Buffalo.
I think you're wrong.
Oh, I think you're wrong.
Well, I think you're wrong.
Well, no, I think you're wrong. No.
I know you are, but what am I? Garbage man.
Garbage man. Yeah, no, it's going to be a great matchup. I look forward to it. I'm glad that this is the first time, folks, that we've had a double down on Toonie bets.
Yes, sir.
And that was all Goobie's idea, and I love it. And, I love gambling just as much as you do, so bring it, buddy.
Gamble responsibly, people. Gamble what you got.
I think LG should sponsor us, because how many times do we throw that out there?
Yo, I mean, OLG, man, if you want to hook me up, I'm pointing at the camera, and I'm like, yo, we don't even do video anymore.
You didn't say what you were doing. Remember.
No, you got to hook me up. OLG, I mean, score bet. I use you a lot. I do my 12-game parlays on it, and I lose a lot. So, I mean, you can at least repay the favor. Send me some money. I'll put you out there. We got some listeners. Thescorebet.com. Everybody, gamble responsibly.
You heard the man. And normally we have the creator Toonie bets with his bet, but unfortunately he couldn't have his bet on time. So look for him next week. Hopefully he's back. And
no. This just in. From my head. Bob picks the Jets to beat the Bengals.
Oh, are you just saying that, or is that an actual pick?
No, I'm just saying that, but I mean that's what he's going with. Everybody, you heard it. Bob puts his toonie. He actually said he's gonna quadruple down and give us all of his money that the Jets beat the Bengals.
Well, if you're looking at the standings for Toonie Bets, we're supposed to be actually keeping track. I lost last week, so I'm 1-1. Ba lost last week. He's 1-1. You're 0-2 because you just like to pick ridiculous shit. And
Hey,
Kevin is 1-0 because he's only had one bet.
Bold predictions, man. Sometimes they help you out.
Or you just have a screw loose, but whatever.
Hey, man, I'll tell you right now. Here we go. Quick fire. Jacksonville wins. Atlanta wins. The Cardinals win. All the shit teams win.
All right. We don't got time for you to go through your crazy list, all right? Let's just close this off, buddy. And just like a plate of cheeseburgers in front of Andy Reid's face, we are finished. Great episode, buddy. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'd clean a plate of burgers and fries. Just saying.
As fast as the walrus?
I could probably out-eat him.
I'd pay to see that.
Andy Reid, I challenge you.
Burgers, though, not hot dogs.
No, man. Everybody, check us out on Wow I Had Mustard. Did the new one come out yet?
It's supposed to drop either any day from Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So
Perfect.
It's eventually.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. We're gonna be shooting another one in probably about a week or two's time.
No,
and guess
further, more close to Halloween.
Oh, more close to Halloween. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, check us out anyways because Goobie, spoiler alert, is a champ. He's the king.
Yeah,
but
finally won in trivia, folks.
all right. Yeah, but yeah, check us out on Wild Head Mustard. I want to thank everybody, not a 30 Anthony, for letting us do our silly little podcast. That we like to talk football. That's what we do. If we don't talk football here, we talk football in the group chat. So I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're just basically talking football nonstop. Rush versus Jones.
Yeah, man.
That Monday nighter might be a stinker. I'm just saying.
Yeah, probably, but I'll watch it. Oh man, Melky.
Thank God booze was invented. That's all I gotta say for that.
Melky, what do you got? Anything else?
You basically took the words out of my mouth. The network. Thank you guys for putting up with us, allowing us to drop our crazy X's and O's, mainly Goobie. We'll be back week 4, and honestly, it'll probably be some crazy shenanigans again. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Stay hungry.
Show me potato salad.
Man, I wish we had video.